Hi everyone, Liam here. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you for listening into my channel. And I just wanted you to know that you've got this. Alright, today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips to help you bounce back mentally from losing your job. Now, this is something that unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I have some experience. During the last Great Recession, I went through 4 different jobs where my position was made redundant. And so I want to share with you the 5 tips that I use to help keep myself mentally sane during this crazy period. And we're in another similar period right now. That's why I want to reach out and share some of these tips with you. If you listen to the end, there's going to be a bonus tip. And if you happen to find value in what you hear, I'd really appreciate it if you could go ahead and click the subscribe and the notification button. So, tip number 1. Maintain your routine. Everybody has a routine, whether it's getting up, having a cup of coffee, having a cup of tea, going for a walk, whatever it is, keep that up. You need that. You need it to keep yourself sane. You need to have a sense of normalcy in your life. Without that, it's pretty easy to go by the wayside. What a lot of people find is that you have a lot of extra time that you're not used to having, and when you stop being productive, that things start to go downhill pretty quickly. So what I recommend during this time period is not just maintain your daily routine, but let's up our game a little bit. We probably have, if we're honest with ourselves, a little bit more time than we would normally have. So this is a great opportunity to get to the things that you know you should be doing, but you probably aren't. Are you exercising as much as you need to be? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating well? Are you going for walks? Are you meditating? There's lots of positive things that you can do to make a meaningful impact in your life. And it's really important to have a solid routine that includes exercise and a healthy lifestyle, because that's where we get our energy. And without that life force energy, it's tough to go out there and deal with the quote unquote real world, or deal with the world outside our doors that we all know is pretty rough and tough sometimes. So you need to have that sense of normalcy and that unchanging part of your day that really helps you keep yourself mentally straight. So that's the first one. Maintain or up your daily routine. The second one is it's very important to guard your mind. And what I mean by that is don't let in a bunch of negativity and junk during that period. It's very easy, especially when times are tough, to be glued to the news and see, this is what's wrong with the world right now. That's what's wrong with the world right now. This is how many people filed for employment. This is how many people died. This is what's going on. This is what's happening to the stock prices. And all of that negativity, it's not going to help your mental game. It's going to give you more excuses, or make it easier for you to make excuses as to, this is why I lost my job. This is why things are going bad for me. It's the economy's fault. It's XYZ person's fault. And you know what? You're absolutely right. It probably is their fault. It's probably much larger than you are. I know that was the case for me during the Great Recession, but it's not a helpful place, and it's not a healthy place to dwell on. And so we need to ignore what's going on or minimize what's going on in the news and really ask ourselves, what can I do? What is within my circle of competence? What is in my circle of power that I can control? We already talked about our daily routines. That's something that no matter what's going on in the world at large, we can control. Maybe not everything, but there's a lot of it that we can control. Brushing our teeth, making our bed, drinking water, doing a little bit of exercise. Those are all things that we can adapt and make sure happens going on as well. Keeping the negativity out of your life or out of your mind is what's going to help you stay positive and stay on track. And you need to be able to focus on what's the next best thing for me to do. So that's something I would ask yourself, maybe even multiple times a day. What's the next best thing for me to do? And the way that you can empower yourself even more with this is to have a schedule. And by creating a schedule and a list of things that you need to do, this is going to help you stay on track. And it also will give you some things to check off your to-do list that you can use as confidence boosters and as ways to know that you're staying on track. So when you say, all right, I'm going to contact 3 companies or 5 companies or 10 companies or whatever it is today, and after you do that, that's something that you check off and you can celebrate as a little win. Conversely, if you're not being able to get after it and do all the things that you need to do, don't always be too hard on yourself, but sometimes you do need to get yourself back on track And that's a great way to circle back. So what I have been doing, or what I have done in the past, I should say, is that when I wasn't on track on one day, I had to make up for it the next day. So give yourself a little bit of leeway in terms of what needs to be done by the day, but make sure that you get everything you need to do as much as possible done within that week. Tip number 3, we've already been talking about this a little bit, but use your free time or your newfound free time productively. Don't just binge watch lots of seasons of your favorite shows or explore new shows or do things that don't add value to your life. So our lives are in large part a voting machine, and that's the results that we see are how we have voted with our mental attention and energy, how have we voted with our time, and how have we voted with our dollars. So it's really important that you vote, or that you, with your dollars, your time, and your energy and your effort, on the things that are important for you and the things that are going to move the needle and that are going to move you forward in life. So the quick takeaway here is use your time productively. Get after the things that you need to do, and just go ahead and feel free to schedule in a certain amount of quote unquote leisure time or time to lay back. But make sure that you control that. So if you're going to watch TV, make sure that you only watch an hour or 2 hours or whatever it is that you've set aside for yourself. If you don't do that, it's very easy to notice that the time has flown by and all of a sudden you've been watching TV for 3 hours, 4 hours. And what really nags at me sometimes is when I do that, it wasn't even really, if I'm honest with myself, it wasn't even really something that I wanted to watch. And it wasn't even something that was that great. And so oftentimes after that, I'm feeling like, yeah, there was probably a better use of my time, or I wish I'd done something else instead. So don't be in that position, and empower yourself to make the right decisions. Tip number 4, I've said some things that are a little bit on the stricter side perhaps, but tip number 4 is be kind to yourself. Tell yourself that this is normal, this is okay, maybe it's your fault, maybe it's not your fault, it doesn't matter. Be kind to yourself. This is where you're at. You need to accept where you're at. What do I mean by that? That by accepting where you're at, which is recognizing that your current state of affairs, if you don't have your job right now, you need to breathe in, breathe out, and say, okay, I don't have my job right now. I don't have a job right now. What's my next step? What do I want to do? How am I going to use this opportunity? Remember, let's try and turn the tables and view this as an opportunity and say, how am I going to use this as an opportunity to reflect on what's important for me in life, to reevaluate if that was a career that was a good fit for me, to reevaluate if I was going to be able to achieve my life goals in that particular tract. This is really a valuable chance for us to check in and see what are some of the things that was going really well for us and what are some of the things that weren't. And we can use that opportunity to make better decisions about our next jobs. But don't get down on yourself. Don't be overly harsh on yourself. Just realize that this is a tough time. So give yourself a little bit more kindness, a little bit more love than you might normally do so. The 5th tip is to focus on what you do have, and to conversely, don't focus on what you don't have. It's very easy to get stuck in negativity and to get trapped in, I usually have this much income, or I usually do these sorts of things, or I usually eat these kind of foods, and I'm not able to do that right now. I'm not able to go out with my friends. I'm not able to do all these sorts of things. My life sucks. My life's terrible. How could this happen to me? None of those things are productive. So like I was saying before, be kind to yourself. Focus on things that are productive for yourself. Focus on what you do have, because no matter how bad your situation is, there are always things that you have to be grateful for. Now, I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. It's so true, and it's really important. It's even more important when you're in tough times to focus in on what you do have. That might be your health, that might be your family, that might be your friends, that might be a warm roof over your head. Whatever it is, I know that if you spend some time and focus on it, that you can find things to be grateful for. And that will help you maintain a positive mental outlook and the drive to keep going and to get out of this on the other end. how long it takes for you to find employment or to gain new sources of income, that's something that you can put a lot of effort in, but you can't 100% control. So is that a 1-day thing, or is it a 2-week thing, or is it a 2-month thing, or is it a 6-month thing? If you're down on yourself all the time, those 2 months, those 4 months, those 6 months can be some of the worst 6 months of your life. But if you're kind to yourself, and if you recognize the situation, and you stay productive, you stay on track, then it can be a much more positive experience, and you can learn from it, and you can come out the other end stronger. And that's some of the things that I had to do. All right, last one, bonus tip, reset expectations. Don't expect that life is going to be normal, because it's not. That's not the current situation. And so you need to reevaluate your spending habits. You need to reevaluate your lifestyle choices. You need to reevaluate what's good for you. This is a wake-up call. This is an opportunity for you to reevaluate your life. And I know that you're resourceful and that you can come ahead out of this. So those are the 6 tips that I've shared. I hope that you've gotten something out of it. Comment below if you faced setbacks in life, if you've lost your job, and how did you get through it? Let's share the love, share the knowledge. Let's help our fellow brothers and sisters get through these difficult times with a little bit more grace and a little bit more techniques and tips and tricks to help them get ahead. And also just to know that they're not alone. That I was looking at, there's more than 17 million people who filed for unemployment in the last 3 weeks. Those are really, really crazy numbers. And again, as somebody that's gone through this in the past, my heart goes out to you if you're somebody that's in that situation right now. And I just hope that some of these mental tips are going to help you. So just please believe in what I'm saying. Give 1, 2, 3, all 6 of them a go for 1 week, 2 weeks, and see how it goes. It's not something you have to try forever, but I would say stick with it for at least a week or 2 to see the results and judge for yourself if it's been worth it. Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate you guys so much. Please click the subscribe button, click on the notification button if you found any value in the content that I've shared today, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Have a great day. Bye-bye.